What's up, ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? My name's Dan, and this is CryoNoir, my little independent game studio, which consists of me and the computer. Apologies for not doing another update sooner than this. It's been a couple of months since the last one. I wanted to get to a point where I had something to share, and it'll make more sense why it's been a delay when we get through the video, what's been going on. But yeah, apologies for the delay. The last devlog video we did was one of the most successful videos I've ever done on this entire channel in my years and years on YouTube.
Oh, what do you want, a medal?
I got like something like 900 views in one day and over 100 subscribers, so thank you very much, guys, to everyone that checked in, and thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for subscribing, man. That was most appreciated, and I hope you've come back for the second part. Had I known it was going to have so many eyes on it, I potentially would have put a little more time and effort into it, and maybe edited it a little bit better rather than just throwing it together. But you know, as Kermit the Frog once said,
life is suffering.
So without further ado, let's update you on the progress that I've made so far and where we are with the game. As of the last devlog, there was a number of issues to sort out before I wanted to make any further progress. The first of which was I wasn't really happy with the way that the rendering was working on the player's arms. There was some sort of smoothing effect going on, which was not really the aesthetic I had in mind. When exporting the arms from Blender, I'd set the smoothing to normals rather than faces. So a handy little tip for you there: if you want hard edges on your models, set the smoothing to faces and it should work out fine. I re-exported them, but this time the bones weren't working. Turns out I'd messed up the scales on the bones and they were tiny, which is also causing this artifacting that you can see because I had to scale it up ridiculously large, so a lot of the levels of detail were missing there. I got all that sorted out and started trying to get the animations working. After importing them, I couldn't really see the run animation properly in the preview window, and the idle animation had some sort of really weird jerkiness going on. It had like a little stutter that it did at the midpoint of the looping animation. When I checked them out in Blender, they looked fine, but for some reason it had this weird tismy thing going on in Unreal. And look how happy I look about it. As a side note, I wondered if the issues I were having was due to the anim instance class that I'd made, so I tried to delete it and then rebuild it, and wasn't able to. Because did you know that you can only delete a C++ class in Unreal by closing down Unreal and then going into the game folder itself and deleting it from there? So, you know, that's helpful. Anyway, I fixed the animation glitch by setting the simplify settings to 0 in Blender, and that sorted that out. And then there was a lot more fucking around with the anim graph, where I couldn't get the is moving working, and when it did, it was all over the place. I eventually sorted that out, and it looked absolutely shit. Like, absolutely just fucking terrible. It's okay, I thought, it's fine. I will redo them at a later date, but at least they're now working. I then tried to implement the sprint function that I'd written in C++. Although it did affect the movement speed of the character, and I'd made it blueprint readable, it just wasn't showing up in the anim graph, which was nice. Like, at this point, I was getting really hacked off with Unreal. Like, I'm not some sort of, like, development whiz kid or anything like that, but, like, I've worked with, like, Unity and C#. I've worked many years in Game Maker. I also developed apps and everything. Like, I'm not some sort of whiz kid, but, like, holy crap, I've never worked with a piece of software. Well, actually, no, until now. I've never worked with a piece of game-making software that I literally felt hated me and was literally actively fighting against me. And that is until I started working with Blender, that is. And then, the more I've got into Blender, yes. So, yeah, I mean, it was getting that bad that I was contemplating, like, I actually downloaded Godot. And I was just like, I might actually just abandon this because I stand a better chance of learning an entire new game engine, an entire new language framework, than like the amount of time I'm going to lose fighting with Unreal every step of the way. But then, as always, like, my little inner voice kind of kicked in and just said, tens of thousands of people use Unreal every single day. It cannot be that unfathomable. Stop being a pussy, suck it up, and fucking work it out.
Get out of your head and stay hard.
So I started looking into the next topic that I wanted to address in the game. Even though the animations weren't as good as I would have hoped, and, you know, everything, at least they were sort of working. So the next thing I wanted to do was kind of get a weapon switching mechanic going on so that I could change between the different weapons, get them paired to the hands and do all that kind of stuff. So I started, as I always do, I hit YouTube and Udemy, and away I went. Well, looking for some tutorials, I found UE5 BP Guru's FPS tutorial series. That's an awful sentence. Where he converted a third-person template into a first-person shooter, so that way you could use the mocap movement animations that came with UE5, and then you could also use all of the other mocap assets that were in the Unreal shop. Plus, when the player looked down, they'd be able to see their body as well. And I was all like, that would totally sort out my shit animations as well. Plus, I've always preferred it when you can see your character's feet in an FPS game. I was a bit concerned that this would be perceived as quote-unquote cheating, so I went to an Unreal Dev Facebook group that I'm a member of and asked what their views were on it. They universally said that they all thought that this was fine. Plus, one guy started throwing some shade at Ubisoft and Blizzard, so I figured I was on solid ground. I always intended on modelling a full character for the game anyway, to use in cutscenes and marketing, so all I was really doing was front-loading work that I intended to do later down the line. My first idea for the character was some sort of non-copyright infringing version of Kanti from Fuddy Cuddy. So I started with the arms that I already had built, and then tried to extend them out into the body. This did not go so well, so I decided to just start from scratch. This also did not go so well either. But twice a week I have been streaming Cyberpunk 2077, and I started thinking it would be cool to make like a human cyborg chick who had like robotic cyborg arms. So I started trying to make a low poly human. So that's what I've been doing for the past 2 months. So this has been an awful lot of work. I have like around 50 hours worth of Blender footage from the development of this character, and I know that I don't have all of it because some bits I forgot to record, like doing the eyes, and some bits ended up getting deleted because I'd tried something and then reverted back to an earlier stage. So I probably have somewhere in the region of about 65 to 70 hours worth put into this character. So this is Ree. I'm pretty totally stoked with how she's turned out, really, to be honest, particularly considering it's like my first character that I've ever designed and ever actually built from scratch in the ground up, the first person I've ever done. So like I'm actually really stoked with this, even if it did take me forever. I've seen videos online of people that are like really skilled with Blender, like knocking up a character that's way better than this in like an hour and a half whilst live streaming, drinking beer and chatting to people. So like, you know, it's not really it's not that impressive, I would imagine, but for me, I'm totally stoked with it. I think she looks fucking awesome. I'm really happy. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it, to be honest. I think she's come out really well. I had so many problems with Blender doing weird things when I was trying to do the skin textures. Like the time it started speckling everything for no discernible reason, and then the time it started striping the paint across her face like adamant. But that's what version control is for, I guess. Still, now she was done, I decided to get her rigged and get her into the game. I got an Unreal rigging plugin for Blender, got her rigged, and then got her into Unreal. Unfortunately, the skin, eye, and hair textures that I'd spent hours and hours doing didn't survive the process, and none of the animations worked. Oh, and they also broke all of the animations for the default mannequin as well. It was then I noticed a slight problem with my model. A standard player character model for a video game should be made up of somewhere between 10,000 and 30,000 triangles. A modern treble A player character might be hitting somewhere in the region of 50,000 triangles. Mine's just over 6 million. So that's where I am right now. I wanted to get her into the game, and I wanted to get the first-person camera amended like before I did the devlog, but I've got quite a lot of optimization to do now on this character. I'm gonna have to redo the boots and a few other things because that's like like her hair alone has nearly 3 million triangles in it, I think, or was it like 2.5 million triangles in her hair alone? So I really need to kind of rattle that down a little bit before I can make that usable. So I've got a lot of work to do there, and I thought, well, this is going to maybe take another month or two to get that. And as I've already like 2 months since the last video, I wanted to do them maybe once a month, so I thought, well, I'll just update you as to where I am now. Plus I also kind of wanted to ask you all a question as well, basically, yeah, now that I've spent so long making this character, which I was going to do anyway, and it was literally just going to be for cutscenes and for marketing, but like now I've made her and now I'm like so happy with her. There's part of the real big part of me, the kind of the ego part of me, and it's in there just kind of saying it's a bit of a shame now making a first-person shooter with this character that you spent all this time designing, and all you're going to be able to see is like her tits and her feet, and maybe the shoulders, and that's I'm like, I kind of would like to. There's part of me that's like, oh, maybe I should make it third person. I've also kind of had an idea. I've been looking through like my retro collection and sort of playing games and stuff and all that kind of stuff, and there's part of me that's kind of, I have a bit of a hankering to make kind of a Metal Gear Solid sort of third person high up stealth kind of game almost, kind of a little, like I say, a little bit like Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation 1, Metal Gear Solid 2 on the PS2, that kind of era of Metal Gear Solid. It also provides massive opportunities for storytelling as well, rather than it just being a straightforward first person shooter killing and stuff like that. And it was a good way to add storytelling. Not that I can't do that in the FPS, but I don't really have huge plans for that. Maybe some little plans, but it just offers, I think that style of game offers a lot more scope for doing good storytelling. Personally, maybe I'm overthinking that. Maybe I'm just flat out wrong.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
So, what do you think? I've got like at least another month, maybe two's worth of work to put into remodeling the character. Hopefully, keeping her looking pretty much identical, but also just getting her like optimized to be in a video game, rather than just like the 6 and a bit million triangles as she is at the minute. So I've got a lot of work to do there, and then obviously there's getting her into the game. Got the rigging still to work out as well. So there's a fair few things to go. So there's plenty of time. I'm not committing to a direction just yet. So if you have any thoughts, put them in the comments below. I stream every Monday and every Thursday at 8 o'clock GMT. That's PM, 8 PM GMT. So feel free like to drop in on a stream and just like ask any questions or put forwards or just troll me. That would be great. Or if you want to just come and lurk in the background while you do other stuff, that would be cool as well. So that's it for the devlog, really. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this one was slightly a little bit better organized than the previous one, and I also hope that I don't get a mass unsubscription from it, because everyone's like, it's been like 2 fucking months, dude, you've done nothing. But yeah, so anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the devlog. Keep the conversation going. If you've got any questions or if you've got any suggestions, feel free to drop them below or drop in on a stream and we can just chat live, and you can just tell me what you think of me and my lunacy and sputtering failed attempt at making a video game. So thank you very much, guys. Take it easy. I will see you later. Cheerio now. Bye-bye. I can't do the double salute. I have a history, for those who are new. I have a thing of doing a double salute, because I used to have the microphone on a stand, but I have to hold it now. So bye. I think that'll do. Welcome, my name is Dan. I'm part of CryoNoir. I am CryoNoir. Okay, that's probably weird. Thank you for coming back for the second part, and I hope you enjoy that as well, as much as you did the first one. There's been a lot to get on, a lot of developments and stuff. Bless you. So yeah, thank you very much. I will see you on the flip side. Although it's still me doing the voiceover. So yeah, it's just me. Probably shouldn't say that. Anyway, here we go.